Hello and welcome to more nerdy rodent geekery. Remember that old Union ControlNet for Z-Image-Turbo? Well, now we have a lovely new one and an updated node from Comfy, which I think makes all the difference. As it's Christmas time, I'm also giving you this Union ControlNet 2 InPainting workflow, which you can download for free from my Patreon site. You'll find the link down in the video description should you wish to snag it. Here you can see one example where I've skillfully masked out the background of the character and replaced it with a forest and a tiny little dinosaur as well. You can also paint things into the image as well, like I'm doing here. Once again, another skillful mask I've added to my image. And then, along with this prompt, you'll get the character added in. Right, time to get into the nerdy stuff then. And for those familiar with the channel, you'll know I like to use the Rodent method for workflows. This means putting things neatly into different colourful little groups because I think it makes workflows both easier to follow and to update. Don't forget you can pause the video or re-watch this tutorial at any time as you learn to create this for yourself at home. Also, if you find these free video tutorials helpful, or perhaps you'd just like all the work done for you already, then you can support the channel via the Patreon link in the video description. Your support helps me make even more workflows for you and to share these videos with everyone. The freedom to choose is, of course, yours, and a massive thank you to all supporters because you make this possible. Do note that this video carries on from my previous Z-Image-Turbo tutorials, so in this one I'll just be covering the new workflow groups in this rather chunky boy workflow, which has taken me several weeks to test. Check back in my previous videos if you're crafting this yourself. Up here in the options, you can see the additions and changes are all to do with the Union 2.1 ControlNet, basically via this little group controller here with the updated Union Control 2 group, Union Inpaint, and Prompted Union Inpaint. For the first set of examples, I'm using much the same prompt as in my previous videos, only this time our rodent maid is chillaxing on a rocky outcrop, wearing some robes which have seen better days. To act as a bit of a guide, we've got the base image generation here, which is just the standard text-to-image result. Pretty decent, I'd say, and it looks like he needs that rest after such a hard day at work casting spells and whatnot. First up then is the updated Union 2 ControlNet group. You will have seen in my original tutorials this used to use the Quen node for applying the ControlNet, but now, hot off the presses, is this brand new node from Comfy, the Z-Image Fun ControlNet. As you can see, this one has some extra inputs now, InPaint, image and mask, and that's what we'll be looking at in the next group, but this one is purely for its control function, so nothing is attached here. Instead, what we're doing is using a pose preprocessor to help guide our rodent's resting pose. I've only gone up to 0.7 with the strength of the control, and that is generally a decent starting value. Moving along, we have everything just the same as usual, but note, we've got a new sampler over here, and personally I think this one is great. So even if you're not going to be using the new Fun Control node, it's certainly worth updating to the very latest Comfy version just for this. Taking a look at the result then, and here I've moved the pose image just a little bit closer there so it's easier to see, and I'm sure you'll agree that it's done a lovely job of getting our rodent in a different relaxing pose, and the great thing is the image quality hasn't degraded like it did before. He still has his tattered robes and fashionable hat, suitable for any high-quality rodent magician. Next, we have the Union 2 InPainting group, complete with some notes I made whilst testing all of this stuff. The first thing to be aware of is that your masked area has to be of a fairly reasonable size. You could even pass in a huge 4K image if you liked, just so long as the masked area isn't too big or too small, and then you'll get a great result. Long-time users of these diffusion models will know that for inpainting, you can also use the Set Latent Noise mask. We'll have a look at the nodes in a moment, and that way you can also alter the denoise value in the K-sampler, just in case you want some more of the original image in there. During my testing, I found that when using the empty latent method, having a high strength on the Fun control node, so around 0.8, 0.9, would ensure that the non-masked area came out okay, but typically at the detriment of the masked area. So if you had it nice and high, about 0.9, then you'd still get the colors from the original image, but the inpainting bit might not be quite as good. However, if you're encoding the image and using set latent noise, you can get the best of both worlds. A better inpainted image from the lower strength, and the rest of the image remains unchanged. That also works with the differential diffusion node, though of course it works just fine without it as well. I'll show you the inpainting result in a compare group in just a second, but for now let's take a look at these inpainting things and how they all connect together. Here you can see I've masked the lady on the rock, and we're resizing the image and mask. If you have a smaller image, such as 512 by 512, it's a good idea to resize that to ensure you have a decent masked area. But in this case, the image is already 1920 by 1280, and that is a reasonable size. Mask blur can help to smooth off some of those rough edges, and it does help to have a really good mask. That's where the prompt-based masking comes in, which we'll look at next, but for now, it's my slightly messy manual mask. I'm using a lazy switch node here to flip between the empty and image latent, allowing you to easily switch between the two without having to reconnect your noodles each time. When you try this yourself at home, you'll soon find out which version you prefer. I like the image encode option, so that's the default I'm using. Differential diffusion is a fairly old node, though still marked as beta, and can help with inpainting tasks, though if you're using the empty latent, it won't actually do a whole lot. Now is a good time to take a screenshot, by the way, if you haven't already, as it's time to look at the results. There he is then, and even with my really pants manual mask, he is still chilling out, having nicely replaced that rather boring human thing, and he is still sporting a rather spiffing hat. Tally-ho. If drawing masks isn't your thing, and with my rather ancient and crumbling paws it certainly isn't for me, then you may like something more to do with prompt-based masking instead. I've used the ComfyUI RMBG pack before. You've probably seen it in the WAN video workflows, and this SAM2 segmentation node is one of those from that pack. There are other options as well, but you get the general idea. Type your prompt like the one I've done here, person, and you'll automatically get a mask generated for you. Corking! As you can see from the result, it is different to the manually masked one, but it's still a pretty decent job. I did prefer his other hat, but such is the way of the mask. You can always expand and blur to your heart's content, depending, of course, on what it is you're trying to do. Up here in the compare group, we can see how well the Inpaint did. So as I go across, there you can see it's actually looking very good, isn't it? See, not too much change outside the masked area, and it's even added some rock where her arm used to be, and it seems totes legit. Okay, time for some more examples then. In this one, I thought it would be a good idea to see how well it worked with my Loras, because last time it turned out to be a little bit of a mess. For the baseline image, just the basic text to image without any of that ControlNet stuff, this is the result, and yes, it's applied the Lora nicely as we'd expect, and our rodent mage is chillaxing on the rock. Using the ControlNet pose thing again, and of course this time with the Lora, yes, it's done it, it's followed the pose as well. Now, also worth quickly noting, I've added extra set control images because, as you know, with this workflow you can mix and match the different groups and pick which images you want, so each of these now has its own set image node. The inpainted version does, of course, look a bit interesting because we're mixing a drawn style with realism, but yeah, there you go, not too bad. Taking a look at the compare node once again, and as we go across you can see the drawn character version fits in nicely with the mask. So yes, mixing the two, I think it's done very well once again. Of course, it does really help if your mask or control method actually fits the thing that you're doing. So replacing a human with a rodent can be somewhat interesting. So I figured I'd make it even more interesting and try and replace this alien with a rodent instead, this time using a depth map. The result in this case is rather hilarious, I think, because it's given him an absolutely enormous hat. Still, it followed the depth map rather well. Or how about if I try the Inpainting version then instead? So here I've masked the alien, which gives us this equally hilarious result. It's got massive ears this time and a very short and stumpy body. So as you can see, it really does try to fit things within that mask, and whatever you ask for, it's going to try and fit the shape you give it. Let's take a look at the compare node then to see how well it did. As we go across, as you can see, practically nothing changes in the original image, and as we go across there, his ears and his hat, so that's where his eye was, and it's become a rather interestingly shaped rodent. I think that's rather good. If you want to keep the text in images, then I suggest using the Canny ControlNet. So here I've got a slightly different prompt for two rodents in a festive forest. One has brown fur, is wearing a hooded cape and holding a cardboard sign with his two tiny paws, which should say "Nerds did this" in a black font. And the other rodent has black and white spotted fur and is wearing an 18th century costume. In the background there should be some sort of alien bringing gifts as well. As expected, the standard text-to-image result is very good indeed. We've got a lovely rodent there on the left holding a cardboard sign, and alien spacecraft in the background, and the other chap has black and white fur and a rather spiffing costume. In the Union 2 control, I went with the HED preprocessor, which gave us that as the preview image. So as you can see, we've sort of got the outline of the two characters and the sign. For this test, I thought I'd also use the DDIM uniform scheduler, because if you haven't tried it out yourself yet, it does tend to give you some slightly different images, though you may need a few more steps. It's certainly a fun one to try. The result in this case still being very good, although the rodent on the right has got an extremely herc expression. That one I love personally, and it's more of a sort of cartoony, comic-y style than the typical photograph, but still a very good result. Or maybe you want to have the sign exactly as it is in your original image. So here I've used the prompt-based masking just to mask out the rodent, so everything else should be the same. It should be the exact cardboard sign that we've got in the original image there. It's just the rodents which are changing. We can use the compare node to see how well it did. So as we go across, oh yes, none of the original image is changing apart from the rodents. We've got the same sign, and oh, he's got a much better face, and his little paws look good now as well, and that's got some black and white fur instead, so an absolutely stunning job. And remember, if getting all nerdy with workflow details and stuff is your kind of thing, then don't forget to like and subscribe for even more Nerdy Rodent geekery.
Ooh, Nerdy Rodent. He really makes my day. Showing us AI in a really British way.